My name's Luke Barnatt, ex-UFC fighter and colour commentator for Octagon MMA, and this is The Breakdown. We start off with Losene KEITA, the Black Panther.
One step right. Oh, that was a big shot.
Comes down. KEITA looking for the finish here, looking to claim his spot. That is it.
Former featherweight champion, former interim lightweight champion, and now in the tip sport game changer semi-finals. This guy has an incredible style, extremely exciting to watch, and I'm going to break him down for you right now. We start with his stats, the statistics. He's 14-1. But technically, I would say he's 14-0, and I would put that one as a no contest. It was a broken leg. Right at the beginning of a fight, we didn't even really get to see it against Sanakidze, so I feel it's a bit unjust to say that he's been defeated. It's kind of like John Jones with the downward elbows when he was destroying Matt Hamill. You can't really say that he's lost a fight. So Losene KEITA, in my eyes, is undefeated. I was there since day one when I commentated on his first fight, and he has just trailblazed through the entire division. I commentated on his fight against Rashavi, unknown prospect coming in, and he ran through Rashavi, and it was a real moment, and he announced himself at Octagon MMA, having 9 knockouts out of his 14 as well, so only going to decision 5 times. Finishes, very patient and aggressive striker. When he throws, you know, he's got such speed and velocity in his shots that we always get fantastic finishes when KEITA's fighting.
Thank you.
KEITA fights out of Belgium at the Lamora Fight Club. Very training style out there, mainly kickboxing, mainly a striker. Has an incredible group of trainers out there, and I've actually been to the gym and trained with Losene quite a little bit out there, and they've got a great team spirit, great vibe, high energy. Aggressive strikers and young kids in there that are hungry. And talking about young kids, Losene KEITA is only 26 years old, and that for me is the stat that really shines bright. But just 26, and everything he's accomplished in his 14 fight career, that's an incredible stat for him. Let's move on to his fighting style. For me, the special ability that KEITA has is his presence. His control of the octagon cage from the moment he steps in, and the way he intimidates his opponents. We saw that, I'd say, in his last fight the most. He took on Pragdan Bogdanovic. He'd come off a very tough fight, and people kind of thought he was even human. And the way to beat KEITA was to get him down to the mat, to control him on the ground, and that's everything that Bogdanovic was good at. Extremely confident, spoke big game, and as soon as he stepped in the cage, you just saw him melt away, step by step. When the things didn't work against KEITA grew, and you just saw Pragdan Bogdanovic just slowly melt away. And I think that's an ability that we only see from KEITA. It's like a superstar ability that he has. He just has such presence and control of the octagon cage. So looking at more of his positives, and probably the most obvious one, he obviously has very good footwork and very good speed. You think he's this explosive, dangerous animal that just comes out and goes for you straight away. But he's actually completely different. He's very patient and very clever. What he does is he controls what I like to call the MMA real estate. And what I mean by that is when he comes into the cage, if you look at an octagon cage, you'll see there's a line on the inside which shows the center of the cage, and he wants his opponent running around on the outside. You see that in every single Losene KEITA fight. He controls the center, he pushes people back, and he makes them run around the outside. What that does is make you tired, because you're always on your bike, as they say. You're moving a lot, and that can really affect your cardio. But it's more just the mentality of being being the boss, being in control of the fight, pushing your fighter back. And KEITA has this ability because he is so fast that he can have forward pressure, which he can alleviate very quickly with footwork, moving in and moving out. Losene has some of the best hips, defensive takedown ability that we've seen at Octagon. He's so good at defending the double leg. He's so active with his sprawl, and he's so powerful and athletic. And obviously in kickboxing or boxing, there's no takedown. You see people push a lot more. They come a lot closer. They try and control the dominant space, and they try and push forward and control that no man land. You don't see that so much in MMA because you're worried about the takedown. You don't see that with KEITA. KEITA gets straight in, controls the center of the octagon cage, has such confidence in his ability to read people and how he sees strikes, and his movement and his speed, that he's happy to go forward and stand right in front of people in the pocket and force them back. That is how he controls the real estate, that forward pressure and making you run around the outside. That is the thing that you have to undo if you stand a chance at beating Losene KEITA. We've seen with his last 2 fights at lightweight in the Tipsport Game Changer, we've seen a few bad, hairy moments and problems. We saw that most of all in the Agi Sadari fight when he got rocked. Badly rocked, and then ended up on the ground because of it, survived, got through the fight, got Sadari off his back, got back up to the feet and won on decision. And how did it happen? How did he catch KEITA? If you watch that clip of when he gets rocked by Sadari, it was when KEITA was trying to push him back. Remember I spoke about controlling the real estate, pushing back and forward. He tried to push him back, and in that moment you see a shutter step or like a charging attack from Sadari, and he did not accept his place getting pushed up against the fence. So I've spoken about the positives, I speak a little bit about the negatives. He makes a few little errors, especially when it comes to his wrestling. He's got very, very good defensive wrestling against explosive techniques. The way that you can manage to get him down, if you watch the Predrag Bogdanovic fight, he manages to chain wrestle very, very well, and he attacks single legs and chains to body locks and double legs and judo tosses and off balances. You don't want to do the athletic takedowns against KEITA. You want to try and do the more, judo throws and the ones that are to do with balance. But to get to those, you've got to build off of a single leg. He's not the biggest lightweight in the world. I don't know how he can combat that. And the last thing is his style works so well for him because he is an explosive athlete. By control, like I said, he's patient, and I explained his patience and how that he funnels and leads people into the right hand. That also works because it reserves his energy. So he could do 5 rounds no problem, but if you push him the entire time, especially in the grappling realms, I think you could see him start to get tireder in the later rounds. Losene KEITA has his next fight taking on Mateusz Legierski. Incredible matchup. It'll take place on the 21st of September over there in Brno. Could be fight of the year. I think it's a real exciting matchup between these two. Probably the best card Octagon have put on all year. So let's talk about Mateusz. Let's talk about Legierski. So why did I pick him as the dark horse? For me, undefeated in the organisation, 9-0 with Octagon, former champion in the division, an extremely intelligent fighter. I think he's a little bit underrated everywhere, if I'm honest. I think he's underrated on the feet. I think his wrestling's underrated, and he's underrated on the ground because he's good at everything, and we see variations of finishes. No one's just said, like, he's really, really good at this. But he stands at 12-1, only having 1 loss, and I feel he has that killer instinct that makes him, when he sees an opening, he's very, very analytical how he looks at the fights, and when he sees that opening, he goes for it. And that's something that you cannot teach. I want to talk about the intelligence. If you watch his last fight against Akon Wanless, Legierski came in there cool, calm, very, very smart, got close to his opponent, was beating him on the feet almost as well, which a lot of people didn't expect. But I saw, because I knew he would know to close the range, stay out the kicking range with Wanless, and get to work with the boxing. And that's what I'm saying. I feel like people underestimate his boxing as well. So we saw lots of different little battles that he had to compete with in Wanless, but it's the opening round he had to compete with is the main one, especially against Wanless, because of the power and that knockout ability that he has. And to see him come through that fight, I feel like his confidence is at an all-time high. He is someone I believe can deal with the mental pressure of fighting Losene KEITA, which no one else has yet, in my opinion. I think the guy who came the closest was Agi Sadari. And to be the man who stands in there as the guy who can beat KEITA, really beat him, that is a talent that Legierski has that we haven't seen. But if he can beat Losene KEITA, this will be the biggest win of his career, and it will really prove that he's the elite of Europe. And we don't have long to wait. September 21st in Brno, these two will fight, and we'll have both the Tipsport Game Changer semi-finals on the same night. An incredible card. Write in the comments what fight you want me to break down, what fights you're excited for, and I'll get to it next time. So if you want to check it out, you can watch it on octagon.tv, or you can be there live, and I will see you guys there.